So guys, the first thing I want to talk about here today on the show is about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now, I've been on record many times, guys, stating that the jetpack era of Call of Duty was, technically speaking, in my eyes, the dark ages of COD. But that being said, I've gotten a lot of people asking me, the whereabouts of where an Advanced Warfare 2 might have been, if that was something that was going to happen. Is it going to happen in the future? So where is Advanced Warfare 2? Because a lot of you already know that as far as the jetpack games go, my favorite one by far out of all of those was Advanced Warfare because it was the first of the jetpack games, so it was kind of fresh, it was new, and I really did have fun with the game for about a month or so. I mean, it wasn't very long, but I did enjoy and I appreciated what they did with trying Advanced Warfare and Call of Duty. I'm just, of course, not happy that they continued it with Black Ops 3 into Infinite Warfare. But that being said, let's talk about Advanced Warfare 2 and where is the game at this point, and we'll talk about if we really think that Advanced Warfare 2 will be something that is made in the future. So let's talk about it. So an article that was written by Den of Geek and was written by Matthew Bird. This was written a couple of years ago, guys, but that being said, I still found that this article was really well put together. Call of Duty World War II was supposed to be Advanced Warfare 2. Sledgehammer Games wanted to continue their futuristic take on the Call of Duty franchise. Activision has revealed that Sledgehammer Games originally intended to develop a sequel to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare instead of Call of Duty World War II. Sledgehammer wanted to make AW2, said Activision CEO Eric Hirshberg during an interview with Newsweek. While they seemed rather committed to that plan, some within Activision recognized that there was a rather large portion of the franchise's fan base that deeply wished the publisher would push the game back towards its World War II roots. Once they realized that they'd like to go that direction, Hirshberg stated that those at Activision had little doubt that Sledgehammer could handle the change of plans. We knew they would become historians, that they would tackle it with authenticity, give it tremendous care, and we also knew they would capture the unspeakable scale of World War II. Now, before we even move onwards, where he states that a large portion of the franchise's fan base wanted to go back to the roots of World War II, I don't know if that was necessarily true, that a large portion of the fan base. I think people did want to go back to World War II, but I think really what we wanted was boots on the ground. That's what the fan base wanted, was a boots on the ground Call of Duty that would go back to, those roots. Just boots on the ground, fighting on battlefields and things of that nature, not jumping like 20 feet in the air and, using jetpacks and advanced movement. But, World War II, of course, certainly was a good starting point as far as getting us out of those dark ages, without a doubt. Of course, the team at Sledgehammer couldn't do it alone. When it came to actually delivering authentic World War II experience, Activision wanted to ensure that the developers had all the resources they would need. They even brought in an actual World War II historian named Martin Morgan, who took the developers to key locations of World War II in the hopes that they would later be able to accurately render them and understand their full significance. Activision also contacted World War II veterans and had them talk to the team. So, one thing I do think that they really did do their homework. Activision and Sledgehammer did a lot of homework on this World War II game. Even though a lot of people didn't like World War II, I really appreciated the campaign. I thought the campaign was very well done. And you can tell that they did a lot of their research on the campaign, at least. As far as the multiplayer side and, all of that, it was an okay experience. I didn't think it was great. It was one of those games I didn't play a ton of either, but I thought that I really appreciated they went back to boots on the ground, and I really appreciated just how much they put into this game. You could just tell in the production quality and value and such. So we think it's daunting to show our games to our fans, and here we were showing it to people who actually stormed the beaches in Normandy, who actually fought through the Hurtgen Forest, and we're showing them those levels from the game. it was an incredibly gratifying experience. After the lights came up, these gentlemen looked at us and said, "Yup, you got it right." It was one of those human moments where something you're making for entertainment purposes intersects with real life in a pretty impactful way. As for whether or not Sledgehammer will ever expand the Infinite Warfare line as they originally intended to, that's a matter that remains up for debate. However, considering that World War II is selling quite well, you probably shouldn't expect any sci-fi adventures in the near future. So, this is going to lead me to the next couple of things here with this, guys. Number one is that, okay, so World War II comes out, and it was pretty successful, relatively successful. It sold well, was the number one best-selling game that year, which every Call of Duty basically is. It doesn't even matter what comes out, but it's always the best-selling game because that's just the brand that is Call of Duty. Now, Call of Duty went from those dark ages, Advanced Warfare. Even though Advanced Warfare kind of started it, I felt that it was still like kind of refreshing, right? It was kind of something different, and that's what a lot of people wanted. They just wanted something different, and so they went different. But the problem was that they greenlit 3 of those types of games instead of just one. Just tried it. That's what I think they should have done, was just try it. Go back to the roots once again. But they did 3 games, and it is what it is. It's in the history books now. But World War II sold relatively well, right? It sold well. And then, of course, we got Black Ops 4, which I thought was absolutely a great game. Only thing that, for me, that bothered me about Black Ops 4 was that there was no campaign. And I'm a campaign guy. I love playing the campaign modes. But the multiplayer was fantastic. And then, of course, we got to where we are now with Modern Warfare, which is, kind of another step in the right direction, boots on the ground, really exciting, really, Call of Duty's kind of 100% back, as I've said in the past. It is definitely back to what made COD great, and hopefully they can continue this. Now, Sledgehammer Games, for those of you who don't know, obviously is not really like a standalone studio anymore. They are now working with Treyarch. And so, and as well as Raven Software, they're all working together on the next Black Ops title, apparently is what's happening now. So they aren't doing their own game anymore. So it went from 3 different studios, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer Games, to now 2, which is in the form of Treyarch and Infinity Ward. So, obviously, in my eyes, I don't see an Advanced Warfare 2 coming. So where is this game at this point? Well, it was supposed to be World War II. And wow, would that have been... I don't know where we would be now. If Activision decided to go through with Advanced Warfare 2 instead of World War II, I think there would be some significant problems with the Call of Duty franchise. It may have sold really well, once again, but I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. And I think that Sledgehammer Games, it sounds like they would like to go back to Advanced Warfare once again, which, look, guys, like I said, the multiplayer was kind of, it was just refreshing. It was different, right? But it felt like Halo. It felt like Titanfall. It didn't feel like Call of Duty. The campaign was fun, but it was kind of like a standalone game. There was never really any thought like, oh yeah, this is going to get a sequel. Kind of like Ghosts. Ghosts felt like it was going to get a sequel because of how it ended, as far as the campaign's concerned. Advanced Warfare really didn't end like that. It didn't end any particular way where it was like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to deserve a sequel. But that being said, Activision, we don't know what the future holds as far as the Call of Duty brand and franchise is concerned. I think that they know what they did right, what they did wrong, and what they can do better moving forward, hearing, from the fan base and all of that. And I think now, instead of making it a 3-year cycle, a 2-year cycle, or, what I personally feel is going to happen is they made Modern Warfare as a reboot. They're going to do Black Ops, the same exact thing, kind of like a reboot almost of each of them. And from each year moving forward after Black Ops, Call of Duty Black Ops gets announced next year, I think that they're just going to alternate each year on Modern Warfare and Black Ops because they're the two most recognized brands within Call of Duty, or I guess you could say, subgenres in Call of Duty. And what I do think, though, that's going to happen is that they're just going to add on to Modern Warfare or add on to Black Ops each year. I don't think that they're going to make like another, Modern Warfare 2 or, Modern Warfare 4 or Modern Warfare 5, wherever we're at. another, Black Ops 5 or something. I think they're going to go back and forth, but they're just going to add DLC. They're going to be adding things to each of those games. I might be wrong, but I feel like that's the direction that they may be going in now. However, we might be wrong, and maybe we will see an Advanced Warfare 2, but I think it would be a pretty far ways off because Sledgehammer Games is now, with Treyarch, and I think Treyarch is more focused on Black Ops than they would be on going into like Advanced Warfare, because they would probably just do a Black Ops game that would be futuristic like Advanced Warfare, had the advanced movement system. They already did it with Black Ops 3. So I would have to say, personally, that Advanced Warfare 2, I don't think that it's going to come out anytime soon, if it ever comes out. I think that there's a better chance that we see like a Call of Duty Ghost 2 come out from Infinity Ward, but even at that, I think is a stretch because they're so focused on the Modern Warfare sub-franchise within the entirety of Call of Duty. But I might be wrong, and, I think it would be interesting to, it would have been interesting to see kind of what they were thinking with Advanced Warfare 2. Would it be, of course, probably the advanced movement system, most likely is what they would do. But maybe, something in Advanced Warfare 2 might be good in like another 10 years or something. Like they want to try, the advanced movement system once again at some point when like new technologies come out and such. Just because maybe in 10 years, the boots on the ground feel of Call of Duty won't be, it'll feel like, hey, we want to change. We want something that's going to be, kind of fast and you like unrealistic. We might want that in, another 10 years. I don't think it's right now, and I definitely don't think it's a good idea that happens right now. I think it needs to be, years down the road that we get another jetpack Call of Duty, if we ever get another jetpack Call of Duty. Because in my opinion, a jetpack Call of Duty is not Call of Duty. It's just, kind of a carbon copy of like a Titanfall meets Halo. And that was just kind of my personal opinion on it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you guys like to see Advanced Warfare 2, and you guys think we will ever see one in the future? Let me know.